Hey everyone, Robert here, author of Expansion Mastery, the practical guide to living a fully engaged life. Are you ready to start living your life to the fullest? Are you ready to spiritually expand in the face of one of the most bizarre times we have ever faced in our lives? Welcome, my friends, to the Fully Engaged Life. Welcome back to the show, everyone. I wanted to begin today's episode with a fact. You know, we live in a time where we are being told that we are either essential or non-essential. And I just wanted to offer my insight on that. As human beings, none of us are non-essential. You are not non-essential, and I recommend not allowing anyone ever to put you in that category as a free human being. Now, if we look at this from a strictly economic standpoint of essential and non-essential, you can see the wild inconsistencies here. But let's take a look at this in a way that the singer Ted Nugent addresses it, where people are either in the asset column of society or the liability column of society. This is kind of a nice approach. You are an asset if you are a hard-working person. You're out there in the world making a living. You are an asset to society, hence essential. If you are a liability, in other words, somebody that's just sitting back getting a check because they choose not to work without any good reason, then you are in the liability column. Why? Because you are not contributing anything to society. You are a drain on society, and hence a liability. But we can see that the essential, non-essential model currently in place by corrupt politicians does not reflect anything so sensible. And of course, all of these shutdown and lockdown orders have taken a number of people, great number of people, who have been in the asset column, in some cases all of their lives, and now place them in the liability column. This is how you begin to roll out a socialist society. So they have all of these people that have always been an asset to society and are now attempting to make them non-essential. Well, if you fall into that category, I tell you that you are essential, and don't allow your vibration to drop for a single second because of this incredible amount of ignorance going on. Besides, most of us are essential to someone, aren't we? So no matter where you are in the world, and no matter what you're going through at this moment, do not allow these bureaucrats, these politicians, to make you feel any less than what you know you are. Even though in recent years they have been lifted to celebrity status through all the political theater, the fact remains that they are public servants. They are in a position to serve us, not control us. It is not their job to steer us towards an agenda that they have, but to support what we, the people, decide. The direction in which we, as a whole, decide we should go. And we, the people, do not go along with those millions who would see our country fall to socialism and communism. Nor will we accept the technocracy. If you pay close attention right now, there's a big push on for virtual about everything. Virtual meetings, virtual classrooms, virtual vacations, virtual everything, virtual art. And we're being told that it's just as good as being there. Not even close. Not even close. We need to make sure we are rejecting this notion of virtual reality being anywhere close to the incredible nature of actual reality. In the previous episode, I explained how you were being programmed to accept socialism. And here we can see yet another facet of their agenda in the way they are pushing virtual things. Pay attention to this when it pops up on your social media and in other things that you read and watch. Living in a virtual reality requires us to surrender our humanity. So we must remain strong. So what can you do if this is happening to you, right? Well, the key is this, and I've addressed this in previous episodes, but I want to look at this again because it's so applicable and important right now. Right now, you may be used to this type of career or profession, this job, whatever, and now you're not allowed to do it. Well, you're faced with a couple choices. You can sit home and not do anything, or you can start to reinvent yourself. I did an ebook on exactly that, how to do it in a positive way so it benefits you, so that you can begin to emerge from this craziness in an all-new way. For instance, you might be able to discover a different way to make a living, something that you enjoy doing far more than what you were doing previously. This is your opportunity. See, it's only when we become so stuck in the identity that we have created for ourselves that we are willing to be dealt a blow like this and then just sit back and hope that it passes. They don't want this to pass. They've made this abundantly clear. Places are talking about opening, and we're hoping they do. But you can see the pushback. They want people kept down. But that doesn't mean we can't find ways to make money. That doesn't mean we can't find all new avenues of interest and pursue them. We could be happier than we were before. But you're not going to find this while you're just sitting on your butt wasting time waiting for the government to throw you another pittance of a $1,200 check or a $600 check. See what they're trying to do with this universal basic income? They're trying to put everybody in the liability non-essential column. As many people as they can. It doesn't have to be that way. You have something of value to offer. All you have to do is be creative and figure out what it is. When we allow ourselves to be limited by our identity, it cramps our ability to be creative and get in touch with who we really are, what our passions truly are, what our purpose is. Imagine if you could use this downtime as a way to figure that out, as a way to position yourself to emerge from this thing in a whole new way. You could be enjoying your life better, maybe even making more money than you were before, maybe doing something far more exciting or beneficial, whatever it is that you would like to do. How do you figure that out? Well, I gave very clear instructions in the ebook that I wrote. It's available on my website. Reinventing Yourself Through Realignment. I highly recommend it. It's very inexpensive on there. And then when and if things do open up, then you can choose. Do I love this new path that I'm on? Is that working out for me? Or do I want to go back to what I had before? But see, this way you're being proactive and you have opportunities. Because a lot of people create a sense of identity around what they do. What you do is not necessarily who you are, right? It can be part of that depending on if you're living your passion, if you're living your purpose, then a lot of times what you do is directly related to who you are. So let's look at what I'm talking about here. If you like a type of music, there's a lot of people out there that make the decision to identify with a certain kind of music, regardless of what it is. Rock and roll, country, pop, jazz, rap, classical, whatever. And a lot of times people will then create their sense of identity around, well, that's the kind of music I like, and that's all I listen to. And I know this is very popular back in the Midwest where I came from. So many people I know fall into this category, and this is their identity, that all they ever do is listen to country music and drink Bud Light. That's all they're going to do. They're not going to listen to any other music. They're not going to drink any other beer. They're not going to do anything else, right? That's their identity. See, we wrap our identities around these external things to try and better clarify who we are. And in so doing, we close ourselves off from all of the incredible varieties of things that are out there. Let's take a look at music, right? My wife and I, we listen to a wide variety of music. Now, sure, there's certain types of music we don't care for, so we don't listen to. But there are so many types of music that we do enjoy. We listen to it all, and we allow the type of experience we're looking to have to kind of guide which type of music we choose to listen to at that particular time. See, it doesn't have anything to do with our identity. It has more to do with our vibration and where we want that vibration to be. So when you do something like this, your identity, the self, the ego, starts to dissolve a little bit. Your sense of identity starts to dissolve away because it isn't pigeonholed into a certain thing. It encompasses many things. And this can free you to be whoever you want to be. So don't be trapped in the identity of the job that you've had, or these idiotic labels such as essential and non-essential. You have been handed an opportunity. You've been given a timeout in your life to where you can take these, this has been a couple months, right? You're going to have a couple of months to where you could say, this is what I would really love to do. More than anything, I'll do whatever, but this is what I would really love to do. And you could start taking steps to move towards that. There are a lot of people getting very creative right now. So the point here is to discover what it is that would make you feel fulfilled. Because when you are fulfilled, that's when you are truly essential. So we, as free human beings, cannot allow anyone to hold us down, nor can we allow to be held down by ourselves. It's just like life, right? The saying that life always finds a way, and they'll usually show a little plant growing through a rock or the concrete. I'm sure you've witnessed this for yourself at some point. Life always finds a way. We always find a way. You can and will find a way. Why not make it the best possible way for you? So my question to you is, what inspires you? What inspires you? What would you really love to do in life? All you have to do is start setting that into motion. You have the opportunity. Don't have much better to do right now, at least if you're locked down. Some people are still working, but still limited on what they can do and where they can go. So why not take this time, whether we're working or not, to clearly determine a path that would best suit us? So if you're going to engage in this process, it's important to remember that you need to raise your vibration before you start to engage the search into what you would like to do. Why? Because the higher my vibration, the better the chances of arriving at what I'm truly meant to be doing. Because that's going to have a high vibration associated with it. For many, many years, I worked in factories, many different types of factories. And factory work is pretty low vibration. Now, I'm not putting anybody down who does that as hard work. I know. I've did it from the time I was 18 until the time I was in my 40s. And every time I would engage in a practice that would raise my vibration, as soon as I went to work, that vibration would be lowered. It's a very difficult atmosphere in which to keep a high vibration. Now, over the years, as I got better, I managed to be able to do that far more often, but it's still incredibly challenging, and it's not an environment in which you are going to grow. And I felt like I was always in the state of inner turmoil between this low vibration environment that I was relying on to feed and house my family, and the vibration of myself that was just struggling so hard to rise and expand. And every day for decades, this struggle went on within me. And that happened until the day I quit and began to engage in this path I'm on now, something that I truly enjoy, I love, I'm meant for. I get to have a high vibration while I write my books. I get to have a high vibration while I'm producing various products and podcast episodes and things. My wife and I have taken this opportunity to sit down together and to really clarify what it is we want in our lives, where we want to live, what we want to do, who we want to be. And of course, that means being together. But we've gotten very clear on a couple of things, and now we are taking measures to start putting those things into action. You see, that ebook that I wrote is fairly timeless, because just because you reinvent yourself once doesn't mean that's where you have to be for the rest of your life. Life is about change. We're ever changing, growing, expanding beings. So you do something for as long as it serves you and you're able to serve other people. And then you can move into something else, if you so desire. Or if you find that one thing that you just love so much, you want to spend the rest of your life doing it, there you go. You're all set, aren't you? See, this isn't about running out the clock until we can retire. And this is something that I respect so much in Japanese culture, because I know so many people in Japan that are in their 70s, 80s, even 90s and older. And these people are still running their own businesses. They're still active. They're running inns. They're running little shops. They're running little restaurants. They're still active in their community. They're still in the asset column. They don't stop. Why do we stop? See, in the United States, we get to a certain age and we're trying to get to that retirement age so I don't have to work anymore. I don't have to do anything anymore. And then that removes us from the asset column. And there's a part of us that realizes that and feels that. And this is why people in countries like Japan can end up living longer, because they're out there, they're up, they're moving, they're doing things, they're part of society. And so many people in the United States, as soon as they retire, they sit on the couch or in a chair all day watching television or doing some other mindless activity, just wasting away. But they have deluded themselves into believing that they earned this rest, that they've completed their life. It's done. They don't have to do anything more. But see, so many people in Japan, they love what they're doing. They enjoy running an inn or a little restaurant or something. Why would they retire from that until they have to, as long as they're physically and mentally capable? And doing those things helps to keep us physically and mentally capable. It's a very drastic difference of mindset. We have so much more power than we realize. We really do. You do. You have so much more power than you can understand. You just have to recognize it and then learn how to focus it. So here's an interesting exercise for you. Maybe get a pen and paper, and over the next week, write down different things that you identify with. Those aspects of your identity. I'm a Jeep person. I don't own a Jeep, but a lot of times I hear people saying that, I'm a Jeep guy or girl or whatever, because they own a vehicle. So their identity is attached to their vehicle. Their identity is attached to the beverage of choice, the food of choice, the music of choice. See, all of those things are things we can enjoy or not, depending on what type it is, but they don't have to become part of our identity. They're not meant to be things that we identify with. They're merely aspects of experiencing. So it's kind of a fun experiment to write down all of these things that you figure out about yourself. I know when I went through this the first time, the list was rather lengthy, and I was a little bit surprised. And then when I sat down and looked at just how much I identified with these things, wow, I felt a bit imprisoned. And I couldn't help but wonder, when the heck did this happen? When did I become that person? It wasn't a conscious decision on my behalf. What happened? When did this take place? How did I not notice? And you may also find some of those delusional aspects of identity too that you view as your identity, yet no one else quite sees you that way. And all of these things are important to understand so that we can become free of these largely self-imposed confines. And then after you do that, write in another column or another page who you would really like to be. If you could be the version of you that you would want to be, that you would love to live your life as, what are those attributes? And it's very important to understand the distinction here. We are not going to trade one identity for another. Be very careful you don't fall into that trap, because a lot of people do. What we're going to do is to realize how much of our identity is false, how much of our identity is mistaken as identity when it is actually just experiencing. So what we're trying to do is shed the false self of identity to discover our true self. And I've shared practices with you on how to do that. The other thing is we're trying to let go of all of these things that we use to create a sense of identity and understand them merely as experiences that we can choose to enjoy or not at any given moment in time, but not attach them as part of our identity. This allows a lot of weight to drop off your shoulders and gives you a renewed sense of freedom. So I don't know if you're like me, but when I went through this and I wrote down aspects of the person that I really wished I were, I quickly realized that it was going to take some work. I was going to have to change, and I needed practices that would help me do that would help me to make the necessary changes in myself so I could become the person that I wanted to be. In order to do that, I had to strip away certain negative behaviors, beliefs, and different aspects of the self, the identity that my mind had created for me over the years. And that's why we have so many of these mental processes to help us do just that. So what I'm sharing with you is just one way in which you can leverage this time to your benefit. And I understand there's a lot of people out there struggling with depression and thoughts of suicide and things right now. But I'm telling you, it's unnecessary. You are essential. And you have, through this obstacle, an incredible life-changing opportunity. It's up to you whether you choose to view it in a positive light or a negative light. And trust me, this is not ideal for any of us, but we can make it through this. We're already starting to see some states relax their lockdown orders, and they're starting to open up. So you may not have much time. The question is, did you put that time to good use? Everyone has something to offer. We just have to be able to find out what that is. And I have shared with you previously exactly how to do that. I think I wrote about it in my book as well. So stay strong. Keep your vibration up. Look at this as like a cocoon we're getting ready to emerge from. We have the opportunity to emerge as a beautiful butterfly and enjoy our life in a way that we didn't before. Have you positioned yourself to do so? So it's up to each one of us to decide. Now, there's some people that have been out there busting their butt day after day for decades. So maybe they took this time to take a little much-needed downtime. Excellent. Good for you. And there are others that may see this as a time where now this is when I've got to really exert myself and try to get very far, very fast, so I can recreate my life in a way that better suits me. Remember, life is meant to be an adventure, not a rut. So embrace the adventure of it all. Enjoy it. Enjoy your life. Because regardless, this is the time of your life. So if you are interested in a little guidance in how to reinvent yourself in your life, go to my website at www.expansionmastery.com. You can grab that ebook there. Very inexpensive, very insightful. I've gotten some absolutely incredible feedback over the years on that. And this is the newly revised and expanded edition. I highly recommend you grab it. And until next time, my friends, I wish you the very best in your practices, in your life, and freeing ourselves from this quarantine. Take care.